Time to pull up a chair. We've got another great story for you today in the rLounge. Whether they spread rumors, make fun of you, or spill secrets, making you look bad in front of other people isn't a sign of true friendship. Today in the rLounge, you don't got a friend in Richie. Best friend turned mean to me, so I exposed her to her boyfriend, who is my cousin. I'm 22 female. Recently, my life has become a turmoil because of my friend, Richie, 22 female. Richie and I are childhood friends. We literally grew up together in the same neighborhood, same school, and same friend circle. We drifted apart for a few years when I shifted to a dorm for my college. Richie stayed at home because her college was near to her house. I took up a technical course while she pursued arts. Our bond was still thriving, even during our college days. When I used to visit home during the vacation, we used to hang out like we were never separated. It was fun to catch up on each other's life after months of gap. 5 to 6 months back, I shifted back to my hometown because I luckily got a job here. I lived with my parents for a few months until I rented an apartment last month. Ever since I moved back, I saw a completely different version of Richie. For the initial few days, she was fine. But when I joined the office and started going out with my colleagues, she was acting weird. Initially, I was unable to read this, but later I realized that maybe she was feeling left behind. No, I didn't conclude this on my own. Actually, one day we were smashed drunk, and she said that sometimes she laments not choosing a better career option, and now she feels stuck. I pacified her that paycheck doesn't matter after a while. It's all about work satisfaction. She has specialized in photography, which is so great of a profession. It is in demand as well, but I don't know why she was thinking that she was left behind. I asked her to pursue her career seriously and take up assignments, but I don't know what she was up to. I never saw her enthusiastic about her work. She never even tried to find work or even part-time assignments. After that night, I was careful talking about my work benefits and perks. I avoided that because I didn't want to hurt her, but it backfired on me. My company sponsors a monthly team lunch, and you know how corporate lunches are. It's mostly organized in the best restaurants in the town with an unlimited buffet of food and drinks. Well, this could be quite intimidating for people who are not used to corporate setup. So, I didn't tell her about this. I thought it would sound like bragging, you know? For the first couple of instances I went, I didn't upload any photos on social media, so she didn't get to know about this. But on the third month, my colleague tagged me in her post, and that's when Richie saw. To dig further, she went to my colleague's social media page and saw the photos of the previous instances. She didn't confront me directly on this matter, rather taunted me. The next time I met her along with our other friends, she threw sarcasm at me that I would not like this small cafe, now that I dine in 5-star premium sophisticated places. I couldn't place my finger on her statement, so I asked her what she meant. She just winked and ignored my question, but that was the turning point when she started behaving weirdly with me. After that instance, she doesn't like my pictures with my colleagues on social media. Whenever I asked her if everything was fine between us, she just shrugged her shoulder and said, "Yes, what happened?" I told her that she did not like my pictures or comment on them. She was like, "Oh, you didn't look good in those pictures, so I didn't react." It was humiliating and hurtful, but I let it slide. Earlier, we were the first person to react and comment on each other's posts. She said, "Yeah, times change, people change." I was like, what did she mean? As usual, she dodged the question. Of late, I saw her posting pictures of her hangouts with other friends. I didn't mind it a few times, but nowadays, it looks very evident that she was trying to make me feel jealous. The way she was captioning those posts as BFF and true friends and all of those, she was calling out all loud that I was no longer her BFF, and she had moved on. If all these were not enough, I got to know from our common friends that Richie was bad-mouthing me. She had been telling everyone that I looked down upon her and keep secrets from her, and that we are not as close as we used to be. But she told everyone that I had grown arrogant because of my salary and threw weight on everyone around me. That's not true at all. I still consider her to be my best friend, and I have no other friends closer to me than hers. I want to confront her regarding this, but I know she's going to dodge it or end it with her sarcasm. Yesterday, my mom asked me if I had a fight with Richie. I said no. Why? She said Richie has been ignoring mom in public places. Earlier, she used to say hello whenever she saw mom or dad, but now she just avoids them. Richie's mom is also doing the same with mom. Then I told my mom about all these things going on. Mom says that maybe Richie is just insecure about my new friends, and that's why she is reacting in this way. She suggested that I give her some time instead of confrontation because any conversation at this point would lead to a fight. I think she is right because even now, I'm angry about her behavior, and I also might not be able to contain myself. So I better let her cool off and then I'll discuss it with her. Maybe she would get back to normal with time. Honestly, it's the age-old story. The reality is people do change, and sometimes those changes don't really mesh well later on. She probably is super jealous and feels left behind, but we can't compare our own successes to others. It sounds like she is letting her insecurities get the best of her, and that might be why she's bad-mouthing you to your friends. She's trying to make you look bad so it makes her look and feel better. Update 1. Richie is just getting witchy. Yes, she is. I would never have used those words as an abuse on her until she did what she did. It happened so that recently, a new manager joined our team. He's not on our team, but leads a different team. But they operate from the same floor as well. The manager's seat is just opposite to me, but far away. That new manager is quite young and is very handsome. Not that I was eyeing on him, but I would just casually mention this to one of my female work friends, and she too shared a similar feeling, and we both gushed over his charm. This is a very normal and healthy talk. It didn't mean we were hitting on him or something. The next day during our lunch break, that friend again brought up the topic of the handsome manager and how he looked so ravishing in a black outfit. I also got indulged in appreciating him. Just then, one of my other male colleagues chipped in and kind of mocked me and said, "Well, Charlie, you always have a thing for older men, right? I wonder if you must have a crush on your school teachers and college professors." Now, this would have been a normal remark, except that it was not. It was true. It was a dang fact that I have a thing for older men. I had a crush on my school teacher and my college professor, though I never had any relationship with them, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. The reason why my colleague's comment stuck with me was because this was something that not everyone knew. In fact, it was something that only Richie knew. Everyone took this as a joke and laughed. I also laughed and replied, "Yeah, that's why I never showed interest in your advancements, because you're of my age." It was a normal light conversation, but the way my colleague smirked at me, I found it fishy. He gave me a look as if he knew everything about me. I didn't ask him any further. I thought maybe I was reading too much into it, and it was just a casual remark. I let it slide. Then again, a few days later, that same colleague, okay, I'll call him Jill, dropped another hint. We were just discussing sexual orientation during our breaks, when my turn came to speak about myself. I said I have never explored anything beyond a straight man. Jill gave me a look of disbelief. He pestered on, asking if I had never tasted a woman. I said no. He was like, "I don't believe it. Not even a lip lock?" That was it. I knew where he was coming from. Actually, in my high school, I and one of the other girls got so drunk at the farewell party and we kissed. But that was it. The only person who knew about this apart from that girl was Richie. This much information was enough for me to confront Jill and Richie, but asking Jill directly if he knew my friend Richie sounded very evident. Confronting Richie was also futile because she was in no way going to tell the truth. So instead of directly confronting them, I thought to dig into it myself. I checked out Richie's social media profile and saw Jill was added to her ID. When I dug deeper, I found they were indeed connected. They were tagging each other on posts and commenting on each other's pictures. I knew that was it. She was the one leaking my secrets to my colleagues. On the next weekend, I went to Richie's house. Her mom gave me a cold smile, which was very unusual. When I went to her room, she was surprised. I asked her what was the big deal in that. She said, "No, now that you are an elite class people, so how come you bless us with your presence?" You see, this is how she talks to me nowadays. I was like, why not? If you can take the pain of leaking all my secrets to my colleagues, I can also do some favors for you. Her face flustered. She got offended and said I was accusing her. I told her she was the one who had been telling Jill all my secrets, which no one knew but her. She denied it, and I knew that she would. She doesn't have the guts to accept what she has done. Yet I wanted to confront her to let her know that I knew what she was up to. I was there for confrontation, but she was all in for a fight. It seemed like she was piling up hatred for me, which she bursted out that day. She called me an entitled witch, arrogant, and whatnot. For a moment, I was shocked at her new avatar. I said I should be the one using this slang for her because she was going all around and bad-mouthing me. I also told her all the instances when she had complained about me in front of our other friends. When she was unable to defend herself, she started sobbing and said I ruined our friendship. I moved on in life, made new friends, and dumped her. I was the one who was keeping secrets with her regarding my corporate lunch. I said I didn't tell her because it might hurt her. She took that in a very wrong way and said that I was labeling her to be jealous and insecure. I realized it was useless talking to her, and she was not going to understand anything. Our friendship was dead, and there was no point in trying to fix it. I said this and raced out of her house. When I was leaving her house, I saw her mom sitting in the living room, and it was evident that she was listening to our conversation. If not all, she must have heard us yelling at each other, yet she didn't intervene. Even when she saw me leaving her house angrily and in tears, she didn't tell me anything. I'm sure if this happened at my house, my mom would have intervened and tried to pacify the situation between us. I went to my mom after that and told her about this. She asked me if she could talk to Richie regarding this. I said no because our friendship is dead now. If she doesn't want to make any effort apart from ruining it, I'm not interested in continuing it either. I want to punch myself for tolerating her for so long and being so considerate towards her feelings. Now I don't care what she thinks or tells about me. She's blaming you for her inability to take initiative in her life. Rather than being jealous, she should be super proud of you and your accomplishments. I'm sorry things have gone sour between you. Honestly, it might be better without her in your life. Seems like she has to work on some stuff on her own before she can be happy for anyone else. Update 2. It's an interesting update. I know it's been long since my previous post, but nothing much has happened on this dynamic until recently. I also had my project release, so I was drowned in knee-deep work. Also, I have put Jill in his place. After the confrontation with Richie, there was another instance when Jill tried to poke me and talk about my secret, which he got to know from Richie. I told him to his face in front of everyone that I knew where he was sourcing all my secrets from. I told him, if you want to know more about my secrets, please ask me directly instead of asking my school friend. He was embarrassed because he wasn't expecting me to react this way. He thought I would be embarrassed by his comments and smirks like I used to be. That was the last time ever he passed any comments on me. Sometime back, when I visited home, my cousin had come over. We started chit-chatting, and he casually told me that he was dating Richie. I was shocked. Not because of anything else, but simply because I had heard Richie's name after a long while. He asked me if I wasn't happy that he was dating my best friend. I was like, yeah, I'm so happy. He was surprised that Richie hadn't told him about our fight. It was pretty clear that he didn't know that we were no longer friends. I wanted to avoid this topic, so I kept diverting it and talking about something else, but he went into full detail in describing it. I was not interested, to be honest. He caught my disinterest and asked me if I was not happy to know this. I tried to mask it, but he caught me. I had to tell him the truth. He did not pick sides, nor did I want him to do so. He said he would stay out of our friendship and focus on both the relationship separately. I don't know what happened after that. I'm guessing he might have asked Richie about our fight, and Richie blew up. She called me out of the blue. I didn't want to talk to her, but I responded to the call, thinking it would be something urgent. As soon as I received it, she hurled abuses at me, that I was manipulating her cousin against her. I was jealous and mean and a witch. I tried to make her understand the circumstances in which I told my cousin, but she wasn't ready to listen at all. So I hung up on her. She was treating me as a punching bag to unleash her frustration on me, and I was done tolerating her. But she wasn't done yet. She hoarded my phone with all sorts of filthy abuses and swore to expose my secrets to the world. I replied to her that she could do whatever she wanted, and she had already leaked my secrets to my colleague. This time, she accepted it and was like, yeah, I did that. Your colleague should also know what kind of a whore you are. I blocked her after that. Not only her number, but also from all social media platforms. She has become so toxic that I'm just not able to breathe. I wanted to tell my cousin about all of this, but getting further into the situation would just worsen my mental state. I just want to cut her off and not indulge in any conversation about her. I have not told my cousin how this new girlfriend has been behaving monstrously with me. It's about time he would get to know her true color, like I did. I just don't want to be called a relationship wrecker by exposing her truth. I don't think they are serious about each other, so who cares about the truth? Honestly, cutting her off at this point sounds like the best option. Seems like she's already made her mind up about you, and there's literally nothing you can do to make her happy. If you don't tell your cousin about what's happening, she might just make up more lies about you and try to defame you. It could get a whole lot worse for you. Not only that, but now she might be at family events, and it might be near impossible to never see her again. Update 3. I turned 24 last week, and with that, I got a promotion at work. I'd been waiting for this for the last 2 years. I got a substantial raise as well. Now I don't hesitate to post about my achievements. Earlier, I used to be concerned about not hurting Richie, but now I don't care, whatever she or anyone thinks. They call me a show-off. Okay, sure, I worked hard for this, and I have all the right to show off. You better get your butt moving. After my last update, I had almost cut off all my common friends, and even my cousin, who was dating Richie. I just didn't want any toxicity in my life. But when I posted about my promotion, my cousin called to congratulate me. He is also working on a similar field, so he was asking for the details about my project. He broke the news that he was serious about Richie. Serious, as in, he wanted to marry her. He had yet to propose to her, but he had almost made up his mind. I reacted very cheerfully and congratulated him. He was like, Richie was the most caring woman he had ever been with. She's always available for him. Why not? She was jobless. She had no other work than this. Of course, I didn't say this to his face, but this was the reality. You see, my cousin works for one of the most reputed MNCs. He is 28 and already owns a car and is about to purchase his own house. Guessing his salary, he has enough savings to his name. What else would a freeloader Richie want? She still lives with her parents and does nothing except lounging on the couch and hanging out with friends. He insisted that I patch up with Richie so that we three could bond and hang out together. I asked him why he didn't tell Richie to make the move and resolve the conflict. He was like, "Richie loves you, she misses you, but you have turned snappy. That's why she is reluctant to contact you." I was done listening to my cousin's praises about Richie, so I hung up the call. I didn't tell him about the last fight that I had with Richie. Richie was just hiding her true self in front of my cousin and acting all sweet. At least 2 months later, my cousin called me again. He asked me if Richie was dating this guy in school. I was taken aback by his sudden question. He said Richie had told him that she is a virgin. I asked him if it really mattered to him. He said it didn't matter, but loyalty and transparency did. Richie had told him that she never had a boyfriend and she had never kissed anyone. This was shocking for me because Richie had dated many guys during high school and college, including the one my cousin was asking about. But I stood shut. Not only a kiss, she had been intimate with a couple of guys. I don't know her latest count because we have been no contact for the last 2 years. But until then, it was 3, I think. The thing is, my cousin was in a serious relationship with his classmate for 4 years, and due to the long distance, they broke up. But Richie has been taunting him for that relationship. She left no opportunity to mock him that his ex-girlfriend dumped him. My cousin tried to give her the reason that everyone has a past, to which she defends that she doesn't have any. I literally cracked up at this. My cousin said it was very important for him to know the truth and insisted that I tell him about it. I was like, "Your decision shouldn't depend on this information. The fact that she was being toxic was enough for you to decide." Anyway, I told him the truth. Not just about the guy he was asking, but all the boys Richie had in the past. I even had photographs of them together in my Google Drive. Yes, I shared those with my cousin. Why not? A few days later, I got some messages in my spam folder, and it was from Richie. She was blowing up my phone, that I had ruined her life. I had manipulated my cousin. I unblocked her and responded that she had revealed my secret to my colleague, so I also told the truth to my cousin. She lost her mind and abused me. Her abuse didn't hurt me after that because it was coming out of her pain, and it was such a delight to see her frustrated and heartbroken. Revenge is oh so sweet. My cousin had already given her a ring, which he took back after the breakup. Not only the ring, but all the expensive gifts he had been showing her, he had snatched back. In fact, I heard that during the confrontation, he snatched away her phone because he had gifted her that phone. He didn't even let her back up the data. I imagine how funny it would have been to witness this scene. I know my cousin has also acted immature, but I don't feel bad for Richie. She has been pushing him to the extreme, and when he exploded, he was out of control. I'm having the last laugh here. You should be extremely proud of where you're at in life and how well you're doing with your career. If she ever had a problem with it, that's entirely on her, not you. And perhaps she's always felt this way about you and has only ever felt good when you were at status quo. She's literally only jealous because you have your life together. She pushes people away from her because she's insecure. I mean, look at what she did with you and your cousin. You probably remind her of her own potential that she's flushing down the drain by not doing anything with her life. Sucks to be her. Keep on keeping on, OP. What do you think? Do you have a similar story? Share it with us in the comments below. Thank you for following along today in the rLounge. Before you go, be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you have something you want to share regarding today's content, we want to hear it. See you soon.